Hello and welcome back to Bottle Openers. This week we are opening a fantastic selection of Toro Albalá wines. These are wines from the south of Spain in Andalusia. They are Montilla-Moriles, which is a similar style to sherry, but it's a different region. It's not the demarcated region of Jerez, and so for that reason they're not labelled as sherries, but they are very beautiful. They're a gorgeous selection, and I'm here as always with the wonderful Dia. Hello, Dia.
Hello, Andy.
How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Are you excited to get into these?
Very excited. I'm very excited, especially to try these with some food today.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember in previous episodes we've constantly said about things that would be nice to be paired with the wines, and we thought today we'd put that to practice with this lovely little plate of goodies. I'm quite interested to see what order things are going to come in, because there's cheese here, there's some sushi, there's some meats and some chocolate. Quite an interesting mix.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the dry wines first, moving into the sweeter styles and going into the extremely sweet and raisiny style, which is the PX. With these, we're going to try different foods to complement them. With the dry food, we're going to try some salmon or sushi, also some olives, from Spain actually, and then some cured meats. We go with the oloroso, and then with the cream we're going to try some comté cheese, aged comté, which we'll see how it interacts with the wine. Again, some salmon there, and then we'll go to the sweeter style, which will have some blue cheese, and then we'll go to dark chocolate as well to see the contrast between them.
Amazing. So should we start then with the Fino Pasado here on the left?
Yes. Let's start with the Fino. You can see it's a very straw-like colour. So this Fino Pasado is 15 years old, aged in a solera, which is 15 years old. So as a Fino, it has sort of aged under the floor, yes, which is this yeasty coverage above the barrels, which actually stops the wine from having any oxygen interaction. And that's why we see this such a light colour, because as the more the oxygen, the darker the colour you will see, and we'll see that in the next few samples here. Okay, shall we have a little sniff here? So you see this sort of medicinal sort of, if we can call it this way, but this is the aromas that are imparted by the floor, that yeasty sort of layer that covers the soleras. Yes.
Yeah.
If I can define the aromas, I would say something like bruised apple.
Yeah.
Bread dough. Yeah.
Maybe slightly aniseedy?
Yes, absolutely. Wild herbs or these sort of, yes, that's absolutely perfect. Yeah, well done, Andrew. That's great. And some dried nuts like almonds, we can try it. We said it's dry, yes, but it has this sort of salty element to it, don't you think?
Yeah, it's quite strange. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting. I'm not particularly used to this style of wine, so it's quite an interesting experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think now we should try it with some food. So we have half a sushi each to try here, which is great. You see how the food almost interacts with the Fino and actually balances off. You don't really feel either of them over sort of powering each other. So it complements each other really nicely. And if we try it with the olive, that saltiness that we mentioned earlier really goes well with the green olive here. What do you think? Which did you prefer?
I think I preferred it with the olive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I don't know, it felt more like a well-rounded experience.
Well, it's a very natural pairing. This is actually olives from Spain.
Yeah.
So, and they usually have Fino, something like that, or almonds or olives you can have. But obviously, if you're a more word-like person, and you can obviously try it with salmon or sushi or any type of seafood, really. Okay.
Amazing. Shall we move on to the Oloroso?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is darker. So this has had some more oxygen exposure, has it?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. You can see it's darker in colour. Yes, it has had... So it's deliberately fortified to 18 degrees. So the floor that we mentioned earlier with the Fino cannot grow above 16 degrees Celsius.
Oh, right.
So this wine is deliberately fortified to 18 degrees so that the floor doesn't develop. And what we have then is left in the Solera to develop in an oxidative way. So the aromas I got earlier as well is sort of more dried fruit, dried apricots.
Yes.
Some orange peel, bit of toffee.
Yeah.
But on the palate, it is quite dry, obviously, yes?
A lot more intense than the Fino.
Absolutely. And definitely the oxygen imparted from the cask there from the Solera has given this sort of dried fruit aromas, this nutty, but also has evaporated some of the wine and concentrated the flavours. And that's why it feels a little bit more acidic. It has like a higher acidity there. Okay, if we get to try this, I've picked actually some cold meats, but really goes with intense cold meats. So shall we try the first one, which is just a ham, dry cured ham with just a lot of spices in there.
Especially the sort of aftertaste with the meat goes very well.
Absolutely, it kind of accentuates. Because I've chosen this particularly because it has this spices and this sort of, it actually has truffle in there and stuff. Because I wanted this interaction, and you can feel it. It actually draws the finish of the food as well, alongside the very long finish of the wine. It's exceptional. Montilla-Moriles here, exceptional oloroso, very nice. I have another.
Apologies.
Chorizo.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll be authentic with our Spanish.
We had to do something both ways, you know, a little bit authentic to have some Spanish, but also something that's, chorizo we can find anywhere in the UK. It's absolutely fabulous, and we have to try it. Again, I find this is just a perfect marriage. Both cured meats have interacted with the wine in a really nice way, and each other have brought out tastes of the wine and tastes of the food separately in a different way, but they match so well each other. So perfect with cured meats.
The intensity of the chorizo after sipping that, it's just like, it really pops.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's brilliant.
And so onto the cream, which is a lot darker in colour.
A lot darker.
Compared to our first two.
Correct. And cream, it's actually sort of a British invention in a way. It's a really unique style of the way it's made, because it is by blending a dry wine with a PX to make it sweeter style, and that's how they call it a cream sort of thing. It's like a sweet oloroso. It's like an oloroso and a PX together. Can get here sort of raisins and prunes. We're moved into that sweeter nose. Some nuts. Shall we have a little taste?
Yes, please.
It is lovely. It is
really
sweet,
nice.
but not cloyingly sweet. It's very well balanced.
That's my favourite of the three so far.
So this is actually a unique combination in terms of food. We should try it with some aged Comté cheese.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a little taste there. It's quite a rich and creamy cheese. Just brings out the nuttiness of the cheese so well. You wouldn't have thought that these two go together, but it's absolutely perfect, I find.
Yeah, it really does go very well. So our final, and indeed the darkest of the four, is this Dom PX Pedro Jimenez. And we've actually had this before with ice cream, which is a very interesting combination and a very lovely one.
It's a classic combination, absolutely. To say here that Toro Albalá are known exceptionally for the production of their PX.
You can see that's much heavier already, just clinging to the side of the glass like that.
Yes, that's very well put. It is, yes. It has these sort of, as we call them, the tears is viscous, you know. And it's quite a unique way the PX are picked quite ripe and then left on mats to dry. And that's for a couple of weeks roughly, and then that concentrates all the flavors and makes them almost like raisins, you know. And then this one had a couple of fortifications because it's hard to produce wine when it's too sweet.
Yeah,
it's hard to get the fermentation going. So, wow,
it's very strong.
Oh, it's fabulously aromatic.
Gorgeous.
Raisins. Some balsamic notes. Orange peel again, I find. Shall we try?
Yes, lovely. Wow, that is very rich. That's really
It takes
nice.
me so long to speak that it shows how rich it is and how a developing flavour it has. Because it keeps on going forever. It's as if I just had a sip of this wine, although we tried it a few seconds ago. And it still lingers, and it's lingering and lingering. Oh, it's wow, huge, very top quality wine there.
Really nice.
So I brought here, so because of the sweetness, I thought it would be nice to match it with some blue cheese. We have Stilton here, but any blue cheese would do.
Well, it really intensifies the Stilton.
It is like having a dollop on your Stilton or, of some sort of sweet chutney. That sort of combination that works really well. It's really lovely, actually. It goes really well with it.
Yeah.
I also brought some dark chocolate.
Yes, I was about to say that this is my favourite pairing so far, but I could see the chocolate was coming up, so I didn't want to jump the gun. I'm sorry, I'm salivating so much.
That's great. It works.
Speaks to the quality of the wine in the pairing. But yeah, so dark chocolate here.
There you go. The chocolate I chose here is 85% cocoa. That is because it's quite dark and, I like it a bit quite bitter because the PX is naturally very, very sweet. So that would complement the richness of the high sweetness of the PX would go really well with the dark, bitter chocolate.
The kind of the bitterness of the, whereas a few of the pairings I felt it's really increased the intensity of the flavour. This has made the dark chocolate less bitter, and this slightly less sweet, and it's just kind of combined in the mouth to be just a very nice sort of middle ground.
Perfectly put, Andy. Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't say it better. Wow, I'm salivating too. It's been fabulous wine.
So there you go, a fantastic selection of Montilla-Moriles. Quite a niche region of wine, not very well known, but it's really fantastic and very worth checking out. We are exclusive importers here in the UK of this range of Toro Albalas. There's such wide variety. I mean, just from this four that we've tried today, you can see that there's lots of different styles. Lots of different food pairings available, and if you go to vintagewinereport.co.uk and check out all of the options available, they do some really interesting things. We're very excited to be working with them. In fact, you can see one of the bottles here. This is their Fino Elettrico, because they set up in an old power plant, so they've got a light bulb shaped bottle. They're just it's such high quality. They're very invested, very passionate, and you mentioned actually that the stoppers are made of glass.
Yeah.
So the stoppers here for the bottles are glass, which is quite an expense and quite a luxury really to invest in when you're producing wine. This really speaks to the quality and investment of Toro Albalá into their wines, and we really think you should check them out.
Absolutely fabulous, and they're one of the top 100 wineries of Spain, so definitely something to look out for, exclusive to Vintage Wine Report.
Thank you very much, and join us again for another episode of Bottle Stoppers. Subscribe, like, and comment with anything you'd like to know. Thank you. Cheers, dear.
Cheers, I've just had mine finished.
Yeah.